You're listening to the Millennial's Choice Show, Canada's most trusted podcast on all things real estate, finance, and entrepreneurship. Here's your host, Matthew Ablakan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Millennial's Choice Show. We got a very special episode today. We're leaning more into the entrepreneurial side of the business. A lot of you young people are listening to this and you want to get into business for yourself. So I thought I would share some of these principles that I've learned along the way, that Danny's learned along the way. And, I'm here with Danny.
What's going on, everyone?
What's going on? And today we want to talk about, the theme is specific, and it's about investing back into your business and what that looks like. We've all heard the saying, to make money, you got to invest some money. And that's very applicable to business. A lot of people think about investing as, we want to buy real estate, we want to buy crypto, we want to buy precious metals, we want to buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds. But a lot of people don't really talk about investing in your business, because your business is a form of cash flow as well. It could be a form of cash flow.
For sure. And I think the saying goes, you got to spend money to make money, man. So
yeah, well, I like the way I said it.
You added your own.
I like the way I said it. I said, if you want to, you got to spend. What did I say? I said, if you want to make money, you got to
invest in some.
Invest money.
Yeah,
that's better. That's better, no?
It is.
So in your business, you need to understand what your income is. You got to understand how to budget. You got to understand that if you spend this much money on one particular, form of advertising, for example, there needs to be a rate of return, right? So a lot of people, and I'll speak about the business that I'm in, a lot of real estate agents, one of the most frustrating things, and I don't want to digress on this, so don't share your examples, Danny. I know you have examples of this, but is like, when I look up a listing, I need more information on it. I want to call the realtor. The realtor, for whatever reason, it's 2023. They don't want to put their phone number on the listing. They want to put their office phone number. So when you call a real estate office, I'd like to speak with Danny. Okay, we'll take a message. We'll page him for you. A lot of times realtors don't get back to you. So these people, what I like to do is I like to then search up their name and see if they have a private, personal website. A lot of realtors have their own website, and they don't, or they'll have a website. You click on the link and it doesn't work. And so to me, in 2023, that's the bare minimum. That's not even the bare minimum, actually. That's basic to have a proper functioning website. If you're in real estate, to have signs. There's still realtors that are 20 years in the business that don't have their own for sale signs. That's not a good look, plain and simple. When I got into the business, one of the ways I invested in my business is I got my website done right away. I ordered for sale signs right away. I ordered business cards right away. I got some clothes. I got a nice car. I said, okay, I've got the basics down packed. Now, what do I need? Okay, I got some social media. I secured some tags and usernames. And I said, all right, I'm ready to go. I've invested in my business. Now I'm ready to keep talking to clients. I did that right at the beginning. That was at the beginning, because as you know, once you're in your business and you're actually working and building an empire, you'll have less time to do those things.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to hire people. So while things are still slow, operations are slow, one way you can invest in your business is not only financially, but it's also with your time.
Yep, definitely. And of course, with your time, you can invest in yourself as well too. And also invest in your product, right? Or service that you're offering. Just to piggyback off the example you just gave, we find in our industry, there's certain people that don't like to invest in their business by the way of, instead of hiring a professional company to go and take photos for listings, we see on MLS or Realtor.ca, there's photos taken with their iPhone and they didn't even take the photos well. And you're just like, that's an example of someone that does not want to invest in their business financially, which I think does not make any sense at all, because for those of you guys listening to this, if you're working with somebody that's doing it cheap for you, they're definitely going to cheap out on the service they're providing for you. That's obvious. But yeah, it's going to result in you making less money, because things, for example, like that on MLS, photos that are not nice, result in people not really clicking on your, listing, right? Or actually making a call to book an appointment to see it in person. That's huge. And that also goes the same for any other business, right? If you're not investing money into your business and it doesn't look good, it won't really attract people. So yeah, definitely. 100%.
Well, those are some examples of why why you should invest in your business, and what some people do in our businesses that, shows a lack of investment in their business. But really what you want to do is you want to decide ahead of time when you're thinking about a business. Let's say you want to open up a marketing agency. You want to manage social media accounts for other businesses, right? Or you want to create content, for example, for other businesses. Well, what you want to determine is, how do you want to be viewed in the marketplace? So you want to determine this right away at the very beginning. And one way I did this for our business is, as I said, I'm not the discount real estate agent because I don't cut corners. It's not who I am. It's not in my DNA. I can't cut corners and feel good about myself. Plain and simple. Everybody who's worked with us knows that. And if they don't know that, it's because we're the first ones they worked with, and they don't know what it's like to work with the competition. But that's something I decided for my business, that I'm not going to cut corners. I'm not going to discount my rates. I will be the most expensive on the market. And those are the clients I want to attract. I decided that very early on for my business, which is why you come into an office, see a nice office. We own the office. We dress up nice. We got some flash. We got all these things because we want to show our clients that we're doing well. We're here to stay.
Yep.
So you need to decide early on, those of you listening to this, early on, what image do you want to have in your marketplace? Do you want to be the discount? Do you want to be the middle? Do you want to be the most expensive? So I always sit down with people that want to market their services to us, and they go, we're not the most expensive. We're not the cheapest. We're somewhere in the middle. And I'm like, well, what does that do for me? Like, does that mean your service is in the middle?
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to pay more if you show me you're valuable, if you show me why it's worth that. You're never going to look at one of our clients' listings, even if it's a $2 million home, which some of the best deals I did, my first big $2 million deal years ago would have been about a $4 to $5 million deal today. The reason we got that house, the reason that house did not sell earlier, is the photos were so trash because, as Danny said, some agents just use their phones. And I know the cameras are good, but you have to format it for the system that we use. And the house didn't sell because of that. When you see the house, you're like, what? This is nothing compared to the photos. So much better. And we did the deal. So you want to be right away determined in terms of, this is how I want to be seen in the marketplace. So you've got that covered, your image, your brand. What does your brand edify? Now, the second thing is you work on that. So you're going to have clients that come to you and say, I don't want to pay that much for the purposes of, I just don't want to pay. There's no rationale behind it. And you have to be willing. This is something that you used to come and ask me about. For sure. To walk away from the table from a deal. And I said to you, you walk away from this, even though the commission is 10 grand, but you're supposed to get $25,000, but you're going to walk away from it. Why? Because that person doesn't respect you. They don't respect the business you're building. They don't respect your process. They don't respect your fees and why you're charging this much. What services are you bringing? How are you more valuable? All real estate agents are not the same. There are better negotiators than others. There are better businesses than others. There's more honest people than others. There's more loyal people than others. There's people that have better opportunities for their clients compared to other realtors.
Better connections.
So there's no one is the same. With that being said, so you decided that this is how you want to be seen in the marketplace. Now you work towards that. So you have to be willing to say no, but now you have to reinvest in your business. So when COVID happened, this is an example of you have to invest. You have to do it. It's a requirement. When COVID happened, we bought an office. So most people were like, no, we're transitioning to working from home. We're leaving the city. We're going to move to, Barrie and Aurelia. And, we're not going to have to commute now to downtown Toronto because we're going to work from home. And it's like, okay, but now these big companies that allow that to happen are stuck with this empty commercial space and office space. And now those people are working from home. So, I can't work from home. Partly the reason why we have this office is I need to get out of the house. Not because my house is not comfortable, but because I need to be in the action. I need to be in an office where I know I'm here to work. There are no distractions. And if my wife and kid need to join me, they come and join me here, right? Or they stay home and work from home. My wife can do some stuff at the house. But we invested in this office because we want to show our clients, look, we're growing, we're expanding. So one of the reasons why you invest is to show people that you're growing and that you're expanding your business. And that subconsciously programs into your clients or potential clients' mind that Danny's going to be here for the long term.
For sure.
That Danny's going to be, constantly investing in his business. And that means he's going to look out for my best interest. Because why would we invest in the business if we're not looking out for the client's best interest? Why would we waste money doing that? Right? So it's an investment that you're making. And now if you do it the right way, that investment should generate a return.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I want to kind of just talk really quickly about the first part of, before knowing, your business and what kind of image you want to portray to everybody in the marketplace, you really got to know yourself, right? So that was huge for me, because obviously coming up with no, business experience, no background, I was obviously learning a lot from you, which was amazing, because looking back now, I'm so grateful. I personally didn't become one of those people that sold myself short for others, because a lot of people do that, especially in our industry. And you always taught me, Danny, quality over quantity. Why would you want to be those people running around, let's say, that make the same commission selling 5 houses, dealing with 5 times the stress, as opposed to, let's say, if you did 1 listing and you got the same amount of commission? That was huge for me. That I really didn't understand that before that. But looking back now, I'm super grateful, because the mindset it puts you in is extremely elevated, as opposed to the other mindset of, you know what, I'm just going to do a half-ass job 5 times, get paid the same amount I would get paid providing, that really good service for that one sale or that one client, right? And attracting those kind of people that are like-minded in that way, because I'm the same way now when it comes to personal stuff. I always want to, I'll pay more if it makes sense. If the value's there, I would prefer the higher valued product or service for the money, and not have to go for something cheaper just because it's going to cost me less.
Yeah, and I want to make something very clear. Yeah. Have we ever discounted our commission? Absolutely, we have. But when do we do that? So for example, I've said, okay, this is what we're going to charge. And again, this is for you guys. Invest this time into understanding your business, right? And your business model and what your competitors offer. So is there a scenario where you need to be flexible? Yeah, you don't etch it in stone. It's not something that needs to be etched in stone. It's something that needs to be fluid, like water, based on the situation that you're in. So have we discounted commissions? Yes, because I have to be fair. I know some business owners, this is where entrepreneurs get it wrong. They're business owners, they're entrepreneurs, they're here to make a deal, but yet they say it's my way or no way. I'm not really willing to be flexible on anything. These are my prices. That's it. I don't need to give you a reason why my prices are the way they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's people like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go find someone else to work with. So the way we approach it is, this is the value that we're bringing to you, right? Here's what we're doing. I know this is what my competition does, but here's what we're doing. And this is why the cost has to be the cost. If you don't want that, then we're not going to be the right fit for you, because we're also not the type of people that don't answer our phones, that don't respond to text messages, that don't repeat ourselves 100 times a day to our clients. We are the people that do that to help our clients better. We provide that service, right? That quality of service. And so what I want you guys to really understand here is invest the time in just really understanding the nuances of your business, because then you're going to be able to really scale the right way with the right client. So I have, for example, I have a client, if they do 10 transactions with me a year, I'll give them a break on one of them, right? I won't charge them full pop. I'll still charge them what I think is fair based on the value and service we're bringing, but I'll give them a break, right? And on top of that, they're doing volume with me. If they're doing volume with me, that's another cherry on top that, again, you guys that are listening to this have to decide. If someone is a repeat business customer of yours and you are servicing them multiple times in multiple areas, maybe you want to think about how you're going to take care of that person.
For sure.
Keep them happy. Now, a lot of times they're working with you because they're already happy with you. They don't need to be taken care of, but it's a nice gesture. It goes a long way. That person says, wow, he didn't have to, but he did it. And it's a nice gesture. So you got to invest in your business financially in terms of, okay, what do I need to do to get things set up? And you don't have to blow your brains out. Like, so much of the stuff that you're investing in is basically a little bit of your time, and you don't need that much money to start off. Like, some of you are getting caught up on, I have to prepare a business plan. and then I got to go to this banker, and I got to go to this accountant, and I got to do this and that. I've never done a business plan, and I will never do a business plan. The business plan for me is just, if you want to fit in this little structure to get a loan, and even then they may not give you the loan or whatever the case may be. I didn't want to start off my business, getting into loans. Like, I didn't want that. I just was true to myself. This is who I am in this position, in this moment in time. This is the position I'm in. And so I only want to invest based on like what I can do now, here and now.
And just disclaimer, nothing against business loans, just to make that clear. Like, there's a lot of people
there's nothing against business loans. I have a business loan now, but I'm saying at the time, it doesn't make sense for me to, get $100,000 loan to lease the best car, to get a nice watch, to, have that kind of image right at the very beginning. I had that image at the beginning, but not to that extent.
I was going to say not to that extent. Just
I
what
knew
you
myself. Here's myself. I'm presentable. My actions and my words are going to speak volumes compared to what people see. But the first thing they do see is your physical look and stuff. So it's important. But I knew myself. I knew this is what I can do right now in this moment in time. And where I lack for that stuff, for the materials, for the office, for this, I'm going to make up for by being the hardest worker. I'm going to earn the business. That's how I thought of it.
Yeah. So
the other way you invest in yourself is you invest in your time. You invest your time in accumulating more knowledge and more experience.
Yep.
In my business, it was going to more open houses, volunteering at open houses. You talk to more clients, going to networking events, going on social media, posting more on social media, doing stuff like that to invest in my business. So there's a lot of things. If you guys are in a position where you may have a business already and you're struggling, there are a lot of reasons why you're probably struggling. And a lot of it has to do with you and how you're managing your time and what it is that you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely. And just on that point, for me, again, coming out of university, getting my license, I had no business skills whatsoever. It was just, let's figure this out. And a lot of that came from doing the things you just said, literally going to networking events, just talking to people, getting to know myself better, right? And making myself the best person I can be. And once you do all those kind of things, it really does set the foundation for growing a really solid foundation and growing a solid business, right? So yeah, that personally was a huge help to me. Going out, meeting people, talking to people, getting to know how people do business. And then at the same time, being able to, that'll help you at the same time to set up your business the way you want it to be set up so that people have a certain, view of you and you put out a certain image that you're happy with.
Yeah, I see a lot of people now. The one of the first things they do is they get social media. The momentum is there. They drop a few posts and then it just dies out.
Yeah.
And the reality is, it is a roller coaster of emotion. Being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. It's not easy. A lot of people glorify it, but it's not easy. It's really a long-term mindset and it's a long-term plan. That's how you should approach it. And so investing in your business is something that continually is with you in the journey, but it changes. So as we grew, one of the things I started doing was social media ads. I started running a little bit more ads on social media to generate new clientele. We recently started doing a bit more radio stuff, radio ads. We also now reinvest in our clients in terms of throwing a Christmas party at the end of the year, a barbecue in the summer. We say thank you to our clients, and we do that every single year. So there's different ways you can invest. You have to get creative with your business, and there's different ways you can invest without breaking the bank. And we never did that at the beginning of the year. I never did, or at the beginning of my career, I never did a Christmas party. I never did a barbecue. It only happened later once Millennial's Choice was formed. So there's steps to it. There's levels. You don't need to, feel overwhelmed by all the things you need to do. It's what's in your control right now. What can you do? Okay, you can update your Instagram consistently. You can get, a TikTok account. You can create a nice website. You can make sure, so basic, your Google profile is proper.
Yeah.
Your Google profile, your phone number, your website, your address is proper. It's not, those are things
that's the basics.
Hard to do. And from what I just said, you haven't even spent really any money yet. Maybe on your website, you want to spend $1,000, $1,500, get a really nice website. Don't call the $49.99 number that's on the traffic light poles when you pull up to a traffic light and it says websites from $49. Don't fall for that, because it shows, right? It shows. And then now you have all these things, and your client comes in to your place of work, and it smells like cigarettes, and it's run down, and it's dirty, and it's like, how do you sit there and now pass a contract across the table to your client and say, I expect you to pay top dollar? Look at the environment they're in. It's not, they're going to look at you. They're going to look at your office. They're going to say, you're going to treat my business, because that's why I'm coming to you, for my business, for what I want to achieve. You're going to treat it like you're treating your environment, like you're treating all these things, and it looks poor. It looks like it's a very poorly taken care of environment, and that's how you're running the business.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people won't work with you based on those reasons alone. How many times did we upgrade the office? I'd move into an office. I'm like, I don't even like this office. I'm like, I'll be here for a year.
It happens so many times, I can't even count.
Because I wanted to buy something, because I always had the vision of, I want to spend money in this office.
Yep.
I want to make this office look really nice. So I always wanted to buy it versus lease it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because, with commercial real estate and stuff. So, but when we first got started, I didn't have an office. I was in someone's office. I was like underneath the stairwell, didn't have my own office. And that was like where I started. And if that space was available, I could use it. If someone else was using it, I couldn't use it. I had nowhere else to work from. And so don't blow your brains out, because what's going to happen at the very beginning is when you see the momentum dies down, because it always does, because it's just how we feel. It's just normal. When you are on this high and then it dies down, you're going to get really discouraged. And then you're going to start looking at those loan payments, and you're going to start looking at that debt, and you're going to say, wow, I feel very burdened by this debt. It's not working out for me. I need to just get out of this debt. I need to take on a part-time job, or I need to do this. I need to do that. And that's just, you're moving towards failure.
That's how they suck you back in, right? To working that part-time job, and then it becomes full-time obviously after. And then next thing you know, you're not really focusing on your business. You're just working full-time. And you're pretty much exchanging your time for money, right? At that point.
Yeah. So now if you're not going to invest in the business that way, like, you're not going to go get $100,000 loan right away. Well, then how do you now say, okay, I can budget for this. I can budget for marketing. I can budget for staff. I can budget for whatever the case may be. How do you do that? So you got to start somewhere. Basics, social media, business cards, signs if you need them, website, Google profile. A lot of that doesn't cost you money. I think you're in for like $2,000 to $5,000, if that, not even.
That's a lot, even. Yeah.
Signs, I said, like real estate signs, that's my business. Maybe that doesn't apply to you. With website and all those things, $2,000. Okay, you could manage that. All right. Now, how do you now increase that budget as time goes on and as you get more business in the door? So you're gonna compensate the lack of whatever it is, the lack of an office, the lack of experience, the lack of whatever it is, with hard work, showing your clients that I answer my phone any time of the day. I don't care what time it is. Don't fall for what some of these gurus and stuff talk about. Pick up your phone any time of the day, okay? Respond. When you're starting out, this is very important, because that's going to earn respect. I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, you always answer your phone. You always answer your phone. I'm like, yeah, and I still do it till this day, 11 years later. But so now how do you, as you're growing, as business is coming through the door, how do you now start to budget differently? So there's different schools of thoughts on this, and I guess it would depend on your own situation and circumstances. But what I would say is, let's say you do a deal and you earn $10,000, right? Some of that is going to go towards taxes. So you need to know where you fall in the tax bracket, because it's not your money. So you're going to have to pay that at the end of the year.
Yep.
So you want to carve that out. Now, how you carve it out, in terms of, do you carve it out at the beginning, at the middle, at the end? I don't care. That's between you and your accountant. That's not my job. I know how I do it, but that's for me. In terms of now, from that 10,000, so you've allocated tax money. Well, then what other expenses do you have? You need to know that for your business.
For sure.
Do you have rent that you have to pay? Do you have employees that you have to pay? Do you have the cost of goods, if you're selling a good to somebody, that you would have to deduct from that? And really what you want to find out is, what are you actually making on this deal once all your expenses are paid? Okay. So very easy to do. find out what those expenses are, deduct them from what you made, then you know how much you actually earned, your income, your net income. So from that net income, well, it's at that point, that number, whatever it is, where I decide, how much do I want to carve out of that to do this, to do marketing? Do I not want to do any marketing? Do I want to keep it all for whatever other reason? Do I want to pay off debt? Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But from that number, the net operating income, so whatever you're bringing in minus all your expenses from your net operating income, how much of it do you want to now carve out and say, this is an initiative that I want to tackle? I want to order 10,000 water bottles that I'm going to give out to all my clients. I want to do some radio ads. I want to do some social media ads. I want to hire an employee. I want to hire a third-party company. I need to get a better car, or I need to get a car. Whatever the case may be, whatever you want to spend that money on, that's the number that you're going to use to then determine how much you're going to actually spend towards those things. It's the net number. This saves you from getting into bad debt. This saves you from over budgeting and over leveraging yourself. And this saves you from the detriment of not really having any money to have any fun or do anything, because you guys need to have fun. Like, this is why you're serving people. You're going to get compensated and you need to have fun with it.
But on that point, you thinking long-term and, if you're okay with sacrificing a little bit fun at the beginning, it definitely will pay off dividends in the future. That's for sure. Because instead of going out and going on vacation, let's say with that money, you're investing it back into your business in marketing and all these other different avenues like Matthew was just talking about. So that's, I think, the struggle that a lot of people have, where it's like, I don't want to get rid of this money, or I don't want to use it for marketing. But it'll definitely pay off dividends in the long run. Sometimes even in the short run too. You'll notice benefits right away. But yeah, I don't really agree with people going into really, really bad debt, like credit card debt, to kind of keep a business afloat. That's a slippery slope for sure. And, we all know people that have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars running businesses into the ground and not really realizing sooner rather than later that, the business is not going well. I'm not doing something right. And they're not looking at themselves and saying, what can I do to improve this? They're just kind of, running it into the ground. So huge points right there for sure.
There are people I stopped doing business with or didn't even do business with for certain things, because I was like calling them to have a meeting during COVID. And I hate how people used it as such an excuse for so many different things, but especially with, well, I'm working from home because there's a pandemic outside. It's like, okay, are you ever coming back to the office? Or are you just going to do work in your pajamas for the rest of your life? Like, literally, I'd have a phone call and I'd look at the person and I'm like, what are you doing? We were in the office, remember? We were in the office.
I remember.
We were in the office like all the time.
Wow, that was crazy.
Right?
Times.
We were in the office, the old office.
Yeah,
all
I
the
remember.
time, until we bought this one. I bought this one May 2020. COVID was already mainstream. This was not a mistake. I was like, this is the opportunity that I am seizing.
Yeah.
This is perfect. Everyone is leaving the office and retail space. Great. Prices came down. There was a crash. You guys just missed it. Like, you were distracted.
Yeah.
There was a crash. There was a big crash. Prices came down like 20 to 30 points on commercial real estate. That's bouncing back now. And it's like, you could have jumped in. So point being is, I didn't want to work with those people because I'm like, well, you're using this as an excuse. Like, how many times are you going to use this as an excuse when now I come to you for needing something, needing a service, and you're just going to use it, as an excuse, and you're in your basement and you're talking to people. Like, I don't know. I for some reason, it's just never really sat well with me. And I always wanted my environment to be a reflection of who I am and what my business stands for. And that's why I did this. That's why I bought an office. So, but I didn't buy an office until 8 years after I got into the business. So October 2012, I got into the business. May 2020, I bought the office. And wow. Look at that, 8 years, right?
That's a long time though. When you're thinking about it and you're talking about it, it's a long time. Like, when you were starting off, I'm sure you probably were like, wow, like, getting into it, you're excited, gung ho, ready. And you never really maybe thought like it would take 8 years. I don't know. What were you thinking at that time?
You
weren't really thinking about getting in the office necessarily, right?
That's what I'm saying about investing in your business. I didn't think of it at that time. I was like, okay, this brokerage that I'm with, obviously they have an office. I'll use the boardroom. I'll use that little nook area to work if I can. because I came into the office every day, even though I didn't have an office of my own. So it's just one of those things where you don't think about it because you're like, it's just not in my horizon right now. Right now, I don't even need to think that. That's big picture. I got to think about getting my Instagram page. I never had Instagram.
The little things.
Yeah,
right?
Getting my Facebook page set up, getting my headshots, getting my signs, getting my website. That was it. Then I tried a couple of things. Should I put this advertisement in the newspaper, in this magazine? I tried it.
I remember that.
Okay. It didn't work. I didn't like it. So I said, stay away from that. It's not working. Right. But you got to try. So part of investing in your business is trying new things and seeing if they work or they don't work. After this season of radio ads, we're probably not going to go back on the radio. Like I'm not seeing the return based on the money that I'm spending. So I'm like, you know what? Probably won't do that. Podcast and YouTube. Sure. We're not getting as much out of it yet, but it's a long-term investment. So that's how I'm investing. But I didn't launch the YouTube channel until September 2020.
Yeah.
Right? 8 years after I was in the business. And the podcast, same thing, came actually afterwards. We started with YouTube first. So I think it came a few months later, maybe in 2021. So that's, again, like 8 to 9 years before I did something like that. You get a lot of these people that, it's not your fault. Like if you're listening to this and you feel overwhelmed, you're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at social media. You're seeing what other businesses are doing, and you want to get there. It's a good ambition to have.
Yeah.
You want to get there. You want to have the nice car. You want to have the nice watch. You want to have the nice office. You want to do all these things, but it takes time. Like we're throwing numbers around like 8 years, 9 years. It's a long time.
It's a very long time.
It's a long time. And so when I was 19, I got licensed. My focus was, how do I get the foundation ready? How do I get clients in the door? I was just focused on clients. That's it. You could have the nicest business. You could have the nicest office, the nicest car, the nicest watch. You look the best, whatever. You could have the best of all those things at the very beginning and have 0 clients. Those things don't matter.
Yeah. It was all about just getting really good at what you do. And for me, that was huge because once you get really good at it through constant experience and practice, you build a lot of momentum and you build a lot of self-motivation where you're like, I've done this a million times and I always want to get better at it. So that's how I always view it now. It's like whenever I'm having a conversation, I don't think to myself, oh, wow, I was so perfect. I think the opposite. I think, how could I have been more impactful, or how could I have been better in terms of my customer service in that conversation or that interaction with that client or that prospect? Did I come off a certain way that I wouldn't have liked to see, if I was on the other end of that? And that's what it's all about, right? Getting better and making yourself better. So that was huge. Just investing into your own thinking, your own personal development, and definitely thinking about how can I make my business better. And it's not just investing money, even though it's a huge part of it, but also thinking about the business and investing in yourself, because a lot of times you are the business, right?
These guys don't want to hear that though, eh? A lot of people don't want to hear that. They're like, you're bullshitting, or you're this or you're that. Go to look at our old content. My social media was around when I was, I cleaned it up a little bit, but when I was 19, right? Go look at that stuff. And you'll see how many times we changed our website. You'll see how many times I changed my social media profiles. You'll see how many times I changed my headshots, my business card. I have a collection of business cards like this. I thankfully have one card of every single time I changed it. Just to one day look back and say, look what I did with my first card,
crazy,
second card, third card, fourth. I've had every single variation of it. And now, now we don't have cards. Now we don't use cards. We got digital cards. We have QR codes.
It's changing, man.
It's changed. So you're gonna change with that if you're on this journey. But they don't want to hear what you're saying. Oh, it's invest in this and mindset. They want to hear, how do I get rich quick? How do I do this quick? And
it's not a real thing.
It doesn't exist, bro. Like I wish, go sign up on this course for $4.99 and I'll teach you. I don't have that. I don't have
there's
this.
No hidden
we don't have that
agenda here.
We're not selling you anything. We got nothing to sell. We're just telling you the truth.
Yeah.
This is what worked for us. And these are universal principles of investment and things like that. And so you need to really just decide, this is what I want to do. I'm going to invest time. I'm going to invest money. I'm going to invest resources. I'm going to invest time not only in my business, but time in myself and personal development, hiring a coach. Some people jump in right away and they hire a coach. Don't do that. Don't do that either. Why would you want to jump in and hire a coach? Like, you need to just absorb as much information from as many people as possible, good and bad, filter it out, decide for yourself. Those are your coaches. You don't have to pay anybody.
Just learn. Yeah. Just learn. Like jump into the experiences and learn from them. But that's the key part though. A lot of people don't want to self-reflect and be like, wow, what did I learn from that? And I have so many examples, like literally like thousands of examples. I can just think about where stuff has happened in our line of work. And like, you've had to come and talk to me. Like, do you see why what you did, like, did it make sense and why you shouldn't do that? And I had to sit down and be like, wow, yeah, I did. And I remember those experiences till this day.
Wow. So he's lying. He's totally lying. That is not how the conversation went. Danny was actually very difficult to deal with. I'll keep it real. I'm not going to take away those. I'm not going to let him take away those stressful times that he caused for me. And from his mistakes and stuff.
There were learning moments though.
Yeah, they're learning moments, but you have to be coachable.
For sure.
It took a lot of back and forth until you got coachable. So you could actually speak better to people when they're not willing to listen because you weren't willing to listen a lot of times. So why don't you go deeper into that? Why don't you talk to people about really just being humble about things?
No, 100%. Like starting out, obviously, like I personally never wanted to be told what to do. And that was huge. That was a huge pride thing for me. I wanted to do it my way. And obviously as somebody starting out new to something, doing it your way is not always the best way to do it because again, you're new, you have no experience to fall back on and so on and so forth. So we definitely got into a lot of heated arguments and things like that where I didn't want to admit I was wrong in those cases. But looking back now, obviously, I obviously wish I had a more open mind looking back at those experiences. I definitely wish, you did take it a little bit more easy on me, but, it was that tough love and, it was one of those things where it all worked out for the betterment. But you also needed some coaching too on how to communicate with people too, right?
Just so you know, I took it easy on you because you're my brother. I can't fire you, so I can't be that hard on you. But at the same time, yeah, it's always learning. But the mistake that I think a lot of people make is that they think they know it all. You came in with that attitude of you thought you knew it all.
Yeah.
But you admitted it that you had no business skills at the beginning.
Or experience. Yeah.
So it's kind of contrary to each other, right? I know my journey was different. And at the end of the day, nobody wants, if you guys are running a business and you're investing in your business, you never want an employee to do something wrong. You never want someone that you're bringing into your business to do something wrong, especially if you haven't done those things wrong. You expect those team members to learn from you. And so you need to invest in that. And so that was the biggest problem I had with you. It was that your unwillingness to like really learn and be coachable at that time, because at the end of the day, I didn't want you making mistakes that, number one, I never made to my clients, or number two, that I made and learned from, that now I'm teaching you. Like, why should you make those mistakes?
It's true.
You should come out ahead. So investing in your team and investing in who your coaches are and things like that is so important, because yeah, you guys want to come in like we know it all, and there should be confidence in your approach, but not arrogance.
That's the big difference, though.
Yeah, because people that are more mature than you and more experienced than you, and I see it, young realtors, young mortgage agents, they try to talk to me like we're in the same boat and we're not. And they try to talk to me and get advice. And I'm one to very freely give advice. Look at our podcast. And I talk to people one-on-one. But there's an approach you have to take. It's a humble approach, not prideful, not arrogant, not I know this, or not I'm going to do this better than you, because you don't know the experience we're bringing to the table. And it's actually very unfortunate that we don't put homeless people or people that are broke on the mic and on the podcast so we can learn from their mistakes. Or people that are like seniors that lived through World War II, put them on the mic. Let's hear from their experiences about life and things like that. So you don't know it all if you're listening to this. That little digression and stuff back and forth with Danny and I is important, because I remember it very like differently, and you remember it in your way as well. So it's important in those early stages to just realize like you don't know everything. You'll never know everything, and you can learn from everybody, good or bad.
Just be open-minded.
Be open-minded.
Yeah.
Be very open-minded. As you grow, you're able to scale. You're able to invest more, hire more, do more marketing, build your team, and you're able to scale. But that comes with time. So focus on the things you can control right now. And I would strongly encourage you not to get into bad debt at the very beginning. Spend a couple grand. That's it. Get your foot in the door. Make that first paycheck. and then chop it up, chop the operating income, net operating income, we call it. So it's your income that comes in minus your expenses. That's called your net income, net operating income. Chop that up in a way that, you feel comfortable.
Yeah. And if you don't have money, focus on yourself. Focus on the things you can do for your business that doesn't require a lot of money. Like Matthew was just saying, social media, things like that. Doesn't cost anything, right? But a lot of people see it. So those things are huge.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So, reach out to us. We're happy to provide you more information about, how to grow a business, some learning curves and mistakes and things like that we've made. Connect with us on social media at Danny Ablakan and at Matthew Ablakan. And until next time, you guys, good luck.
We're out.